I decided to redo my review because it just bugged me that I made a lot of mistakes when I reviewed this movie like 5 months ago. I haven't watched it since, but I think I remember enough to talk about it. I didn't understand the fact that Sydney, not Sydney, Billy had a daughter. Because I just didn't think about the fact that maybe Billy cheated on her because, he's literally a psychopathic murderer. They never say directly that he cheated, but looking back at it, the dialogue clearly told you. But they never do say, oh yeah, Billy cheated on Sydney, so it just didn't click in my head. So I was like, wouldn't Sydney know that she had a daughter? Because I thought for some reason that the girl was Sydney's daughter throughout like the entire movie, but no, she's Billy's daughter from another woman that I can't remember. And I do want to say, although I do think this redeemed the franchise, because in my opinion, 4 was just like really boring. And they definitely underutilized the fact that the mom of Jill was literally, Sydney's mom's sister. She should have had a bigger role. I could see why Jill would be liked by fans, but I'm not personally a fan of Jill. We all know Charlie sucks. He had some brutal kills, that's about it. 3, I could see why people like Roman, but he was way too whiny, and that whole stupid voice box thing was very dumb. And in like actual screen time, he's definitely the least used out of all the Ghostface. He probably had 2 very short scenes. And he didn't even interact with Sydney. He literally had to introduce himself when he revealed himself as Ghostface. Which is something none of the other people had to do. Roman Bridger, director. Like, yeah, cool. As much as people think Mickey didn't have a lot of screen time, he still had quite a bit. Should have been in it more, yeah, but he still had quite a bit. And obviously, everybody knows about the first one. But I just wasn't really a fan of Scream 3 and 4. 4 was boring, and 3 just was kind of goofy. This one is pretty good. It gets even more brutal, but was not a fan of either of the killers. Again, haven't liked the killers since Scream 2. Amber just kind of sucks. And Sydney and Gail aren't even really fazed by her. She has like this cringy thing of trying to get out of dying like several times. Like, don't kill me, I was tricked into this, and blah 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 blah. I don't care. And Richie's even worse. He's just so lame. He's played by a really talented actor, though. Just don't care for him in this movie. And now, since it's been a while since I've watched this movie, apparently some people think he's a pedo. Which I don't know for sure if he is. I don't know why people assume that just because he's older than Amber. She's still in high school. He's not. As far as we know, because, we never see him in school. Doesn't go to the same school. So he is clearly older. But people forget that high schoolers could also, be 18 because of certain birthdays, or could be 19 because being held back. Because Amber's age isn't confirmed either. We just know she's in high school. Regardless, if he is dating someone that's barely 18, that's kind of weird. Especially since he probably already knew her. Like, before she was 18, because they've been watching the Stab movies and talking online for a while. Also, for some reason, I thought Amber and Jeanette, however you say her name, for some reason I can't think of how to say it. Jenna Ortega. I don't know what I was saying. It seemed like they were dating. And apparently in the original script they were. Amber and Jenna Ortega's character, but apparently they're not in this movie. It seemed like they're dating, but apparently not. They also throw around a lot of references to like original movies, which I didn't care for, and then add even more characters that we never knew existed, like they did in Scream 3, where we got Randy's sister that never appeared again. She could always return in Scream 6, though I highly doubt it. Because, they already introduced two people that are Randy's nephews in this movie, so not really a need for Randy's sister in Scream 6. Anyways, they mentioned that apparently Stu had a sister called Leslie Mocker, and Billy has a daughter now that we never knew about. Just character after character is related to other characters. They kill off the cop from the previous movie, which I was surprised she survived Scream 4. But yeah, she gets killed in this, and she has a son now, and he gets killed too. And he's played by the dude that's in Goosebumps, which I need to rewatch eventually, so I can do a review. Most of the characters I wasn't a huge fan of either, but they were definitely better than the characters in 4. 3 had pretty interesting characters, but that's all it had going for it. And Liv just kind of sucked. But yeah, that's really about it. They killed one of the characters from the first 5 movies, Dewey, and now Sidney isn't even gonna be in the 6th one. Because they're giving her a pay cut. And, she'd been in the movie since the first one. Doesn't make sense to downgrade her pay even if she's not gonna have as big of a role, because there wouldn't be any movies without her. She's the main person it happened to. The whole point of the first one was to get revenge on her, and most of the movies have been some way entwined with her. So to give her, a lower pay cut is crazy. Even though, yeah, in this movie she didn't have a huge role. She probably wouldn't have had a huge role in 6, but once again, she's still really important. And now that there's one lesser legacy character, as some people call them, now that Dewey died, which is pretty fucking obvious from the trailer, I knew he was gonna die. What else would Gail be screaming for? One of the random teenagers she didn't know? No, Dewey was fucking dying. They gave too much away in the Scream 5 trailer. Anyways, so you'd think they would pay her more and she would get a little bit more screen time. Not crazy now that Dewey's gone, but nope, she gets, cut out of the movie completely because she thought she deserved better. Doesn't make sense.